So whenever you want to hang something, the way you make the thing is you make a loop, then you give it 2 twists, or 1 twist, whatever you, I think 2 twists is better, and then you just bring it around like this. And this is the part that steps out of the, so it sits like that. Is everybody with me? Okay. So anyway, that's what we're doing, and if you don't do that, if you don't have that extra little business there, it may not be as strong as you'd like it to be. All right, so we're going to make some fragments here, and so because fragments are really cool, and we're going to use this color for this one, John?
Yeah, except that's her bowl. That's my bowl.
That's right. We're just going to put a little pigment in there, because we're not going to mix much. And then we're going to put a little bit of Hydro Fix. Because we're just going to make a section of the piece. So we're just going to mix it a little bit. And the way that we're going to keep it under control is with the spatula, and also with your fingers and everything else. But, it won't run like water. So you're not going to, it's just not going to, you're not going to get out of control. Okay. I like to make it a little bit on a more solid side so that it doesn't, you don't want to make it too juicy. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Chopping off one hand and just kind of like a part of it.
But I think I kind of like the decorative, a little bit of the decorative element as well. So we'll do that too.
You're the artiste.
Alrighty, so here we go. We're gonna stir it. I can't even get my little hands in here and open them up because it's just not enough.
Doesn't seem like a lot though.
We don't want a lot.
Oh, okay.
But I am going to stir it a little bit. We're just making a little fragment, that's all.
All right. Did the fragment idea come from like ancient civilizations when the archaeology, when they found parts of pottery and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think
statues and
fragments sort of came around the idea of, during the 19th century. I think Rodin was the father of fragmentation. He really was a master at taking a finished piece and making fragments from it. And he really started that whole tradition of fragmentation. So I think that's where you're getting that from. All right, so anyway, I'm going to just go into I like to keep one, I don't want it all over the place. I just like to keep almost like a section of it. Maybe not the whole face, just a little bit of glass. Okay, the one thing I didn't want to do was go over the edge there. That I didn't want to do. But anyway, so the spatula helps contain it. Of course, you could make a bigger fragment, but I just wanted to start with this little one first. And then, of course, where you put the framing thing is also important, too, because if it's not balanced, it'll hang crooked, so you have to be very careful about that. So I'm sort of making almost like a geometric shape, sort of like a square or rectangle, where it's sort of contained. But the edges look ragged. Notice that none of it went flying around. It just stayed pretty contained from the get-go. So you really have a lot of control. You want it relatively flat also because it's going to hang on the wall, so you really want it to be pretty flat. Okay. And then what I like to do too is I like to sort of know where my edges are. Okay, I think we're good. We're good enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just sort of guesstimate where I think the center is. I'll just put the hanging thing in there. They don't want to be heavy, these fragments. So notice it's not going to be a heavy thing. All right, so we're going to let that set. We're going to pop it out in a minute. So what she has then is a yellow ochre undercoat, which is that. Pulling in on. And then what I did is I put a veiling of paste wax on top. But the paste wax has has titanium white in it.
That's the cement color?
Right. The rotten stone.
Might be nice.
And yellow ochre.
Yeah.
And in with the pigment in with the wax, and then you just
Press it.
you just kind of softly put it on top, and then let it set, and then you're going to buff it up later. But
The more the
but you really
tone
want
will come out, right? When
yes,
you buff it up?
exactly.
Yeah.
So what
It's
happens
yellow
then
ochre.
is you really want the yellow ochre to come through, but you want it just to
She put
almost be like a veiling of it coming through.
wax.
You see what I mean?
And then
And
I can see it a little.
right,
And
exactly.
a little bit of
So it's just lovely, really.
a little bit of this and a little tiny bit of this. Just coming.
But I mean, you're not going to see the loveliness of it until we buff it up. Then it really looks really nice once it's buffed. So.
Now this you can call over your hand.
What's that?
You can call this one over your hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beginning of actually.
Where's the wax on the
That one?
The wax.
Where'd you get this stuff?
Well, actually,
You get the rotten stone and the titanium white, all of them in the hardware store.
That's good.
Only the hardware store. Don't go to an art supply store for that.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, what do they use it for? Cement?
Yes. But I mean, these are not high quality pigments,
It's extremely fine abrasive.
but on something like what we're putting it on, it does not have to be as archival as if you were, of course, painting on canvas. Then it's a whole different thing. But
Is it permanent?
oh yes, absolutely. It's not going to change at all. But I mean, if you're making a painting, you really have to use the best quality pigments. For something like this, of course, it won't change, but it's not as it's not as important as if you were making an oil painting. So you can use the pigments from the hardware store. I mean, the thing that I find that's different with the rainbow colors than with the pigments, like the high-end ones, is that the density of the color.
More intense with the
Yes,
pigment.
yeah, with the high